Ever slip on a pair of shoes and think, these were made for me?
Hmm.
Well, today, we're going to dive into what goes into creating that feeling.
Yeah.
We're talking bespoke footwear.
Yes.
Handcrafted, one-of-a-kind shoes
Right.
fit for, well, maybe a king.
Absolutely.
Or, someone who really appreciates serious craftsmanship. And to help us get into all the details, we're joined by,
Oh, I'm excited to be here.
we're drawing insights from RoleCatcher.
Yes. A platform known for its in-depth career guides.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we're talking about more than just your average shoemaker here, right?
Absolutely. A bespoke footwear technician, they're a true artisan.
Okay.
They blend, those traditional shoemaking skills with a keen eye for design. And most importantly, working directly with clients to craft shoes that are both comfortable and a statement piece.
It's like the difference between a mass-produced print and an original painting.
Yeah.
You're getting something totally unique.
Yeah.
So what exactly does a bespoke footwear technician do all day? Give us the inside scoop.
Okay, so picture this. You're in a workshop surrounded by rolls of supple leather,
Okay.
maybe some vibrant textiles, and the air is filled with this scent of leather and wood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You're meeting with a client, maybe sketching out designs, discussing everything from, the arch support to the type of stitching.
Okay, that's way more in-depth than I imagined. I thought it was mostly about, hammering and shaping leather,
Right, there's definitely that.
That
But
makes-
you're also the designer.
Oh, wow.
You're managing client relationships. You're staying current on fashion trends. It's a very dynamic role.
Yeah.
Goes way beyond just the workbench.
All right.
Did you know they might work in boutique stores, retail stores,
Oh, really?
manufacturing facilities, or even from their own home workshops?
Wow, that's a lot to juggle.
Yeah.
But I can see the appeal. It's
Right.
that perfect blend of creativity and technical skill.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get down to brass tacks, Is a career as a bespoke footwear technician a good fit for you?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
To help us figure that out, let's turn to the RoleCatcher guide you mentioned.
Okay.
It breaks down the pros and cons, which I always appreciate.
Mm.
No sugarcoating, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the most appealing aspects of this career path?
Well, the guide highlights the immense creative freedom you have.
Okay. Imagine you get to design and bring your own shoe visions to life. And it's not just any old material. You're often working with the highest quality leathers, exotic skins,
Oh, wow.
unique fabrics, you name it.
That level of craftsmanship must be so satisfying, and I bet the client interaction is pretty rewarding too.
Absolutely. The guide talks about how fulfilling it is to get to know someone's style, understand their needs, and then create something special just for them.
Wow.
And of course, there's the potential for high income as you build your reputation.
High-end clientele, handcrafted shoes, it makes sense. But let's be real, no job is perfect. What does RoleCatcher have to say about the potential downsides of this career?
Well, the guide emphasizes that it's not a walk in the park.
Okay.
Becoming a skilled bespoke footwear technician takes serious dedication.
We're talking years of training,
Wow.
often through apprenticeships, where you're learning from master craftspeople.
So you're not necessarily going to find a bespoke footwear technician program at your local community college.
Maybe not. The guide actually points out that old school apprenticeship model, it's still very much alive in this field.
Right.
It's about learning by doing,
Right.
developing a feel for the materials,
Yeah.
understanding the nuances of the craft that you just can't get from a textbook.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
It's about honing your skills under the guidance of someone who's been there, done that,
right.
but it's also physically demanding work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher is upfront about the long hours,
Yeah.
often on your feet,
Right.
the meticulous nature of the work, and like many creative fields, income can be unpredictable, especially when you're first starting out.
Yeah, those are definitely things to consider. It sounds like you need a certain amount of passion and resilience to really thrive in this field.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
This isn't your 9-to-5 job. It's
Yeah.
a craft you live and breathe.
Right.
But for those who are drawn to it, the rewards can be immense.
Okay, so let's say someone's hooked, they're ready to take the plunge.
Right.
What did that first step look like? How do you even break into this world?
That's where RoleCatcher's breakdown of the career stages comes in handy.
Okay.
They talk about how starting out often means finding an apprenticeship
Okay.
or assisting in an established workshop,
Okay.
It's about getting your foot in the door, so to speak, and soaking up everything you can.
I imagine those early days are all about mastering the fundamentals,
Yes.
building a solid foundation in the craft.
Yeah.
It's like learning your scales before you can play jazz, right?
Exactly. And as you progress, you'll start taking on more responsibility, maybe even designing your own pieces under the guidance of your mentor.
Right.
RoleCatcher talks about how the intermediate stage often involves more client interaction,
Okay.
which is where those people skills come in handy.
Right, because you're not just crafting a shoe,
Right.
you're crafting an experience for the client.
Yes.
They're investing in something truly special.
And that's a key part of what differentiates bespoke footwear from mass production.
Yeah.
It's that personal touch, that understanding of the client's needs and desires.
So how does someone go from a skilled apprentice to a sought-after bespoke footwear technician?
Right.
What does that leap look like?
Well, RoleCatcher really emphasizes the importance of building a strong portfolio.
Okay.
It's your chance to, like, showcase your skills,
Right.
your creativity, what makes your work stand out.
Right.
Think of it as your resume.
Yeah.
But instead of words, it's a collection of your best pieces.
And I imagine networking is key too, right?
Yeah.
Getting your work out there, making those connections in the industry.
Absolutely. Attending trade shows, connecting with other artisans,
Yeah.
even using social media to showcase your work.
Right.
It all plays a role in building your reputation.
So you're not just a craftsperson.
Right.
You're an entrepreneur, a marketer. You're wearing all these different hats. It's inspiring to see how much opportunity there is within this one field.
And it doesn't stop there.
Right.
As you reach the senior level, RoleCatcher talks about how you might take on apprentices of your own,
Wow.
passing on your knowledge to the next generation.
Wow.
You could become known for a particular style or specialization.
Right.
Some even go on to open their own workshops or studios.
That's incredible. So you've climbed the ladder from apprentice to master, but then there are all these different paths you can take.
Right.
It's not a linear trajectory. It's more like a choose your own adventure.
I love that analogy.
Right.
And what's so fascinating is that even as a seasoned bespoke footwear technician, there's always something new to learn, new techniques to explore, new materials to experiment with.
That's what keeps it exciting, right? You're
Yes.
never really done learning and growing in this field.
Right.
It's not just a job, it's a lifelong pursuit.
Precisely. And speaking of lifelong pursuits, one of the things that really stood out to me in the RoleCatcher guide was the section on sustainability.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm hearing more and more about sustainable practices in all sorts of fields these days, but I don't think I've ever really, connected it with shoemaking before.
It's a growing trend.
Yeah.
And for good reason. RoleCatcher talks about how, consumers are becoming increasingly aware of the environmental impact of their choices, right?
Right.
And that extends to footwear.
That makes sense. People want to know where their clothes are coming from, their food, their shoes, and that they're made ethically and sustainably.
Exactly. And for bespoke footwear technicians, this is a really unique opportunity.
Okay.
The guide highlights how using recycled materials, ethically sourced leathers, even plant-based alternatives, these can all elevate the craft even further.
So it's not just about creating beautiful shoes.
Right.
It's about creating them responsibly.
Yes.
That adds a whole other layer of craftsmanship to the equation.
I think so too. Imagine sourcing vintage fabrics, repurposed materials, and you're giving them a new life as part of a bespoke shoe.
Yeah.
Each piece becomes even more unique, with a story behind it.
Now, that is something I could get behind. You're not just buying a pair of shoes. You're investing in a piece of art that aligns with your values. That's pretty powerful.
And it speaks to how bespoke footwear can be so much more than just a luxury item. It can be a statement about sustainability, ethical consumption, about supporting artisans who are pushing the boundaries, of what's possible.
It's like you're shaping the future of fashion, one carefully crafted shoe at a time. What an incredible thought.
And it all comes back to that passion we were talking about earlier, that drive to not just create something beautiful, but to do it in a way that's mindful of the world around us.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. We've gone from the nitty-gritty of shoe construction to the bigger picture of sustainability and the future of fashion. This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about.
As have you. I always appreciate our conversations. They make me see things from a fresh perspective.
Well, that's what the deep dive is all about. We hope this exploration into the world of bespoke footwear has, sparked your curiosity and maybe even inspired you to learn more. Remember, whether you're drawn to the meticulous craft, the client connection, or the potential to make a difference, there's a place for you in this fascinating field.
And who knows, maybe one day we'll be slipping on a pair of your sustainably crafted masterpieces.
Now, that's a goal worth striving for. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.